Yeah, so my name is Laura Sender. I had kind of been interested in High Rock for a little bit. My roommates attend High Rock. The thing is I wasn't interested in going to a brick and mortar place. And it's a solid hour on public transportation, kind of regardless of where I go. So I thought I don't know if they mentioned it to me, or if I found it poking around on the website, but I found the channel on YouTube and found that there's an online coffee hour after. So it actually took me a long time to gather the courage to join coffee hour.
Owning that there was like this barrier of meeting another
Yeah.
community. What sort of like moved you into like taking that risk to join the Highrock Online Coffee Hour?
Yeah, so there were a couple things. One is I'm an extreme sport extrovert. Like I really need people, and like more than that, like I have different online communities anyway, but I really needed other Christians.
Mm-hmm.
The internet is already utilized by people who are lonely and don't feel like necessarily they have meaningful connection. So, people who are, in danger of being like radicalized and pulled into organizations that don't have their best interest in heart, like they're already there.
And it's like I hear you saying Christ went to those places where people were vulnerable and
Yeah.
exposed, and
And he took care of them.
he took care of them.
Fed them.
Yeah.
And there are 1,000 ways to do that.
Yeah.
There is a bottomless pit of creative thinking that can go into that.
There is, and the internet is full of creative people. So and people that could have never connected before, like
this past week, a member of online church and I, like, we played a video game together and it was amazing. And we talked about like social cultural history. And I'm here for that. Like that's one of the kind of connections that I want to be able to make with people, and to also be able to talk about like Jesus and my spiritual life and just like bond. We exist in a physical space all of the time. We're never not in a physical space, but that's also true of the person you're interacting with on the internet. They are as physical as they would be if you were on the phone with them or if you sent them a letter. And I think that's actually a really important thing to remember, because it requires that you treat the people on the internet with respect because they are also children of God. I feel like that opens up a lot of doors for like, oh, I'm having like the relationship I'm having with this person. It might contextually be different than if we were like having coffee together face to face, but it's still valid. It's still important because they are still an important person. I really appreciate the amount of time and effort you and Megan put in to kind of adding structure to the online community, because I feel like the spaces that flourish, both online and in the physical world, they have a structure. You welcome people, you guide the conversation, but you also give us space to kind of go off on tangents or just like giggle about a movie for like 20 minutes. But just kind of having like, the conductor in an orchestra kind of in front of everyone and organizing that is a huge part of like why our online coffee hour is successful. So I want to thank you for putting all the effort that you do into that.
That's super kind of you, Laura, to say. And I genuinely look forward to it every week. And it's because of the community that shows up. It's just this wonderful, like co-sharing, co-learning space where like, sure, I show up as a staff person, but I learn so much from everyone. Yeah, it's been super meaningful for me too, to hear all your reflections on this. And so I feel like the question I want to kind of close with is, what do you feel like God has been doing in your story?
Validating
in this story.
me.
Sorry, I totally spoke over you.
Nope.
Go ahead.
validating me. And I don't know that I've ever felt so valued. I was definitely in, different spaces before and different points in my life before and in different settings before. But I just feel so valued and like I'm not alone.